Good morning. Good morning to everyone, our friends and colleagues present here at Prostor Miljenko Dereta in Belgrade. Greetings from Belgrade to everybody else who is watching and will be participating in this conference from the capitals, regional capitals. Welcome to the conference, Western Balkan Youth and the EU, Shaping Our Common Future. It is the final event of the three-year long project, Regional Youth Dialogue and Europe, which was funded by the European Union and coordinated by the Center for Democracy with its partner organizations from the region. The project, among other things, aimed to strengthen youth participation and the role of civil society organizations in a dialogue with the decision makers concerning policies that matter to young people. Let me first turn to conference hosts and to invite them to present a few welcome remarks. We can begin with Alexandra Jerkov of Regional Academy for Democratic Development and Center for Democracy Foundation of Serbia. She is present here and I turn now to her. Alexandra, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ljubica. Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues and friends, I would say, joining us from Belgrade, Sarajevo, Skopje, Tirana, and Pristina. It really is a true pleasure and honor to welcome you to the regional conference, Western Balkan Youth and the European Union, Shaping Our Common Future. And today we have 5 cities which are connected into one regional conversation, very important conversation, I would say, reflecting the simple truth that our challenges, but also our opportunities are shared. Allow me first to say maybe a few words about the organization I represent. Regional Academy for Democratic Development from Novi Sad is a regional organization dedicated to strengthening democratic culture, human rights, and civic participation and engagement across Western Balkans. And our work focuses on connecting young people, researchers, policymakers, activists, and communities, and supporting initiatives that promote a more open, resilient, and European region. For us, empowering young people is not an isolated project, it is a core value. And exactly this conference actually embodies that mission. It brings together young people, civil society organizations, policymakers, activists, and experts to highlight priorities and challenges that young generations face within European integration process. Over the next 2 days, we will explore key themes that shape the everyday realities of young citizens. Participation in reforms, employment and artificial intelligence, well-being and culture, digital security, and the green transition. These topics actually demonstrate something important. The European future of the Western Balkans is not only a matter of institution or negotiations. It is a generational responsibility. The voices of young people, their ideas, expectations, and critical perspectives must be at the center of this transformation for our region. I would like to express gratitude to the Foundation Center for Democracy, to all partner organizations throughout the region, and to the European Union for their long-term support in making the Regional Youth Dialogue for Europe initiative possible. And to all young participants joining us from 5 cities, your contribution matters profoundly. It matters for your communities, for your countries, and for the European project. I encourage you to speak openly, listen to each other, and use this platform to imagine the region you wish to shape. Thank you all for being here in all 5 studios, and I wish all of us a meaningful and inspiring dialogue in the days ahead.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Just to say hello and good morning to Diana Ostojić, Project Coordinator, and Mateja Trajković from the Center for Democracy Foundation, who worked very hard to ensure that today and tomorrow's conference goes smoothly. And now, good morning to Ana Čoba of the Academy of European Integration and Negotiations. She is sitting in Tirana. She's from Albania. I hope we hear each other well. Ana, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ana Čoba, and I am the project coordinator of the Academy of European Integration and Negotiation. It's a pleasure to join you all from Tirana studio for this regional conference of RYDE. On behalf of IN, I want to warmly welcome everyone joining us today from all 5 studios. And it's great to see that we are connecting for this amazing 2-day conference to have a lot of energy and honest conversations. This year's conference, Western Balkan Youth and EU, Shaping Our Common Future, brings together young people, civil society organizations, policymakers, and of course, experts of the field. And honestly, there's no better moment than to have this dialogue. Youth in the Western Balkans have been carrying this weight of reforms and also uncertainty and ambition for years, yet our voices often get diluted in the bigger political noise. Therefore, these 2 days are about making space for young people to articulate what they need in the EU integration process and to talk honestly about the challenges that they face. So we have the space to connect all 5 studios around one simple idea, a more inclusive, future-oriented Western Balkan. So throughout the agenda, we will hear from policymakers, youth activists, and organizations working across the region. I want to thank everyone for joining us, and most importantly, we will also hear from the youth groups who are driving changes to the ground throughout the RYDE project. With that, I'm happy to officially open today's session and pass the floor to the next host. Thank you once again for welcoming us and to the RYDE conference from Tirana studio. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna, to use the European Eurovision song context vocabulary. 12 points pour Tirana. And now we move to Sarajevo. Anida Šabanović of the Network of Progressive Initiatives of Bosnia and Herzegovina should be with us. Anida, I hope we can hear and see each other.
Good morning, everyone, and warm greetings live from the Sarajevo studio. On behalf of the Network of Progressive Initiatives, it is my pleasure to officially welcome you to the opening of this regional conference. Especially, I want to greet everyone who is joining us from their offices, from their venues, from their homes on Zoom, and really thankful to all of you for being here. During these 2 days, today and tomorrow, we will discuss challenges and opportunities that shape the everyday realities of young people across our region, which is, I would say, the most important topic when we discuss all the challenges which are globally present here, not only in our countries, but in the world, and young people should shape their own future and should be involved in all the discussions and should be involved in all the policy makings. As we open this conference today, I want to underline once again how is it important that youth voices are heard, that youth are included and supported within different initiatives, but also what is the most important is that they are included and supported by their own governments. So to be there present to shape the strategies, which include youth, to shape the policy documents and everything else, which will be in line with what are their needs and what do they need, not only in Bosnia and Herzegovina, but also in the other countries in the region. I would say that this conference and this event is not only the platform for the dialogue, but also a reminder that cooperation, ideas, and shared values are what moves our region forward. So we have to work together. We have to work, of course, in our own countries, but we have to work together in the regions towards this path of European Union. As we all know, we want to one day to be a member state, as all the other EU member states, and we need to work individually as countries, but also we need to work as the Western Balkan countries and as the region when it comes to these initiatives and reform processes. I wish to all the speakers, moderators, and participants a productive, engaging, and inspiring first day. And also these 2 days, I wish you all the fruitful discussion, and thank you for being with us. And once again, warm greetings from Sarajevo studio.
Thank you very much, Anida. And we move swiftly to Skopje. In Skopje, we have Biljana Bejkova. She is with NGO Info Center. Good morning, North Macedonia. Wait, Biljana, just a moment. We can't hear you. We see you very well, but we can't hear you. I hope the colleagues can resolve this issue. Can you hear me now? Just a few more seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better if your colleagues can get it a little bit louder. That would be perfect.
Try my best to speak louder.
Perfect. It's perfect, Biljana.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, each and everyone. I'm really delightful that we are here all together, although not in the same room, but using the opportunities of the technology to be connected throughout the region in vivo, but also online. Dear guests, honored guests, partners and friends, thank you for being here today. It's a privilege to open a discussion that goes straight to the heart of the Western Balkans European future and to the people who will ultimately shape it, and that's our youth. A recent survey by the Institute for Governance and Euro-Atlantic Perspectives gives us a sobering snapshot of where young people stand. 46% of youth in North Macedonia do not believe the country will ever join the European Union, and only 6.7% expect membership in the next 5 years. But young people are not indifferent. They are very decisive. Their priorities are very clear. 76% want opportunities to work and live in the EU, although some of them doubt that EU membership will decrease the immigration. These numbers point out that the future of EU integration in the Western Balkans will not be decided in Brussels. It will be decided by whether young people see a future worth staying for in their own countries. This is exactly why our project matters. Through RYDE, we are working to strengthen youth participation and amplify the voices of young people across the Western Balkans. Our goal is very simple: to empower young people not just to follow the European agenda, but to shape it. Because youth engagement is not simply about inclusion, it is about recognizing that young people are the engine of the Euro integration. The EU path cannot move forward unless they move it forward. If we want EU integration to be credible, we must ensure that youth are not standing on the sidelines. They must be at the center, shaping policies and setting the pace for practice. Youth is a driver of change and the decisive force behind our Western Balkans European movement. So I wish to all of us very productive 2 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Biljana, very much. And finally, I'm going to say good morning to Brikena Hoxha. She is in Pristina and she is with Kosovo Stability Initiative. Good morning. I hope we can you can hear and see us, Brikena. We can see you very well. The floor is now yours.
Distinguished representatives of the European Union all across the region, esteemed colleagues from the public institution across the region, our partners, and all participants joining us today, both in person and online. On behalf of the Kosovo Stability Initiative, it's my great pleasure to welcome you to this truly regional and deeply meaningful gathering, one that connects 5 cities, one vision, and one shared spirit. There is something profoundly symbolic about seeing Sarajevo, Belgrade, Skopje, Tirana, and Pristina connected in real time, not only through technology, but through the will to build bridges, to listen, and to engage in dialogue that this region has long needed. The RYDE project, led by the Center for Democracy Foundation in Belgrade and supported by the European Union, stands as a living example of what happens when collaboration replaces competition and when we choose to invest in people rather than in distance. For us at IKS, this conference is a reminder that real changes begins with conversation, because when we speak openly, we give space to young people to share their challenges, their hopes, and their ideas. We are not simply holding a conference, we are shaping a culture of dialogue that our region is so deeply needs. Too often in the Western Balkans, we begin our sentences with "the problem is." But today, and through these 2 days, I hope that we will begin differently by saying the opportunity is. The opportunity to think as a region, to design policies that connect us, and to recognize that young people across our 5 countries already speak the same language, the language of courage, creativity, and cooperation. On behalf of IKS and our team in Pristina, I would like to thank all our partners for their collaboration, the CDF for its leadership, and the European Union for its vision and continued support for the regional dialogue and youth empowerment. Thank you all for being here. Today, 5 cities speak as one, and that in itself is our greatest achievement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brikiana. Thank you all for these encouraging welcome notes and messages. And we now move to the opening session and our keynote speakers. There will be a change here on the scene. I would like to invite Ms. Nataša Vučković, Ms. Plamena Halacheva, and Mr. Đorđe Cvijović to take seats here. And without further ado, I would like to give floor to Nataša of the Center for Democracy to start this next phase of today's conference.
Thank you, Ljubica. Thank you for being with us again, first of all. Distinguished guests, colleagues, partners, dear friends, and particularly dear young people. On behalf of the Center for Democracy Foundation, I wish you a very, very warm welcome to this conference, which in a way marks the end of a 3-year regional project dedicated to young people. Along these 3 years, young people's knowledge about the European Union, about the challenges and rewards of the integration process was improved. Their understanding of policy-making process was increased. They had the opportunity to meet, to discuss a variety of topics, to work together in Politea School, in Politea thematic sessions. They got to know policymakers and deliberate with them on public policies impacting young people through a series of youth policy labs. And maybe most importantly, they got to know each other much better and understand each other much better. And they are encouraged to promote and advocate for reconciliation in the region, increased cooperation and better understanding in our region. We meet today at this conference dedicated to a very powerful idea. The future of our region, but also part of the future of Europe, is being shaped today by the youth of the Western Balkans. The enlargement process is again on the top of the EU agenda, and we must take this opportunity, reform our governments, root European values in our societies, and develop economically and socially our region. We come together to recognize young people not as an audience of reforms, but as drivers of change. They carry European values in their expectations: fairness, rule of law, opportunity, dignity, and truth. And more than ever, they're standing up for these values with clarity and courage. This year has shown us a remarkable civic awakening. Across Serbia, students and young activists have mobilized peacefully and responsibly, demanding integrity, transparency, and higher democratic standards. Their actions have demonstrated a simple but very important truth, that youth movements are not a disruption to democracy, they are a renewal of it. Their voice has echoed across the region, reminding us that participation matters and that the Western Balkans is rich with a generation ready to step forward, to engage, and even to lead. Let me present you briefly the panels and the topics that we are just going to discuss today. The first panel, Youth in Reform Processes, a Bridge to Europe. As we all know, European Union is not only a negotiation process, it is a transformational vehicle. And young people shall stand at the center of this transformation. They bring new expectations to public life, they hold the institutions accountable, they demand European standards because they see their future as part of Europe, even if sometimes it does not seem quietly so. Their engagement, from local activism to policy making, is essential for reforms to take root. And I would say that they're not a bridge to Europe, they are already part of Europe. The second panel, Youth Employment in the AI Era, reminds us that we are entering a technological era that is reshaping our world. Artificial intelligence is changing economies faster than governments can regulate them. In this context, the Western Balkans has a unique opportunity, a young, skilled, and digitally talented generation. But the opportunity must come with support, and we must ensure that young people are not workers that are displaced by artificial intelligence, but leaders empowered by it. Good education for all is essential. Youth guarantee is so important in all of our countries. No one shall be left behind. The third panel is about youth well-being, mental health, housing, access to culture, and the basic feeling of belonging are not side issues. They are foundations of a healthy democracy and a resilient community. Young people deserve systems that protect their well-being, support their growth, and make staying in the Western Balkans a meaningful choice and not a sacrifice. In the fourth panel, Youth in the Digital Landscape, we're going to discuss security, trust, and resilience. We all know that today's youth navigate a digital world where information is abundant, but truth is fragile. Misinformation, manipulation, fake news, hate speech, and digital threats shape their everyday realities. Algorithms shape their priorities and create new needs, ours too. Geopolitical divides and threats to democracy and freedom are not always easily recognized in media. Strengthening digital literacy, building trust in institutions, and creating safe online spaces are not only youth policies, they are democracy policies. And in the final fifth panel, we are going to discuss the link between young people and nature. Because across the region, young people are leading environmental movements. They clean rivers, plant trees, defend green spaces, innovate in renewable energy, and challenge governments to act with responsibility. The Western Balkans has serious environmental challenges. Youth engagement in climate action is essential for building a sustainable, prosperous, and European region. Dear participants, this conference is not just about discussing youth. It is about trusting youth, investing in youth, and building the European future together with them. The Western Balkans is part of Europe and will be even more with more democracy, improved rule of law, and protected human rights. The reforms that are on our agenda in all parts of the region and reforms that all of us have and are reforms that all of us, but particularly the youth, will benefit from. From civic movements in Serbia to digital innovators in North Macedonia, from environmental activists in Montenegro to cultural leaders in Bosnia and Herzegovina and educational improvements in Kosovo, young people across the Western Balkans are shaping a new narrative, a narrative of hope, of responsibility and courage. They need to be empowered, they must be included and actively participate. It is also through intergenerational working together that we can make it. With the RYDE project, we wanted to ensure that when decisions about Europe's future are made, young people from the Western Balkans are not standing outside the room, but sitting at the table, confident, capable, and heard. I would like finally to make some words of gratitude and thanks to all of you that enabled this conference to happen and this project to take place in the region. First of all, our thanks go to the European Union, which supported us on this way and enabled us to undertake so many activities to gather so many young people to support ideas and projects of young people, youth associations, and grassroots groups. Thank you, Ms. Halacheva, for being with us today. I would also like to thank to the Commissioner for the Equality, Brankica Janković, who will join us with a message. She has been with us in many activities. I would also like to thank representatives of public institutions and government bodies that participated in our activities, as well as many civil society organizations that were with us on this road. I would like to thank our excellent and dedicated partners who are with us in their studios in Tirana, Skopje, Pristina, and Sarajevo. They were all a bit worried and suspicious how this multiplex conference in 5 venues will be organized, but we managed. Thanks for your commitment and trust. I would also like to thank our grantees, a number of them, who with our support implemented important projects and contributed to even higher impact that our project altogether has. I would like to thank in advance to all moderators who will have an important and difficult task today to take care of the time during our discussions today and tomorrow, as well as to the facilitators who will draft recommendations that the debates will produce. Thanks to all of you who enabled us and supported us on this journey, journalists, speakers, trainers, researchers, and all the others. At the end, I would like to thank the persistent and determined, hardworking and enthusiastic staff of the Center for Democracy Foundation that all deserve our applause. Diana, Milena, Ivan, Katarina, Matea, and Emina. Emina, our intern from Sarajevo within the RYDE project. Without you, this conference would not have happened. I wish you all an inspiring and meaningful conference.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nataša. Here with us today, we have Plamena Halacheva, Deputy Head of the EU Delegation to Serbia. Plamena, I hope you wouldn't mind, but it's stronger than me. I cannot resist. I have to quote Biljana Bejkova from Skopje. She said a couple of minutes earlier, the European future of the region will not be decided in Brussels. It will depend on the determination of young people to embrace the process as itself. I think it is such a good opening remark and inspiring, not only for our panel discussion that will follow suit, but also for you, I guess. It's an interesting point of view. Please take the floor.
Well, first of all, dear young people, esteemed colleagues, partners, and dobro jutro svima. I'm particularly pleased to see also colleagues connected from Skopje, Sarajevo, Tirana, Pristina, some of whom I must admit I haven't seen in 15 years. For example, Irena, who is connected from Skopje, so I'm really particularly happy to be at this event. Let me start by saying yes, I fully agree. And I think it's something that I hope this conference will have the possibility to explore in the upcoming panels. In any case, it's really a pleasure to be here and to address this event, which is dedicated to youth issues in the Western Balkans. It's an event that celebrates good practices, fresh idea, and most of all, the remarkable energy that young people bring to building a better future. Today's conference, as you have already heard, marks the culmination of the work carried across 5 policy labs in the region, each focused on youth participation. And thanks to the civil society facility through which the RYDE project has been funded, we continue to support youth organizations as they raise awareness on the needs and the priorities of young people. Dialogue is where progress begins. When we come together, openly, honestly, and with curiosity, we learn from each other and build policies that genuinely reflect the realities of our societies. And today we see dialogue turning into action. Young people from different communities, different backgrounds, meet, exchange ideas, challenge each other, I hope, and discover common ground. You show, time and again, that borders do not divide us when our values and ambitions connect us. Youth empowerment lies at the heart of the European Union's vision for a stronger and more democratic Europe. This year, we have seen a number of new initiatives which are expanding direct engagement with young people in the region, including the annual youth policy dialogues with commissioners, as well as the newly established Youth Advisory Board to the President of the European Commission. This year, the European Commission has also taken an important step forward by launching new ways for young people from the region to express their opinions. Of course, we also recognize that young people face significant challenges, from economic uncertainty to social inequalities and the growing impact of climate change. And we do know that the youth sector itself still needs strengthening to fully support you. But your resilience, creativity, and determination give us hope. And through various youth-funded programs like Erasmus+, the Youth Guarantee, and the Youth-led Reconciliation initiatives within the Berlin process, the European Union continues to invest in opportunities that open doors, build connections, and support a shared and peaceful future. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the Center for Democracy Foundation and all partners for your dedication to participatory democracy, active citizenship, and empowering young people to take leadership in their communities. I also would like to use this opportunity to thank Ms. Brankica Janković, who is attending online, for her strong commitment as Commissioner for the Protection of Equality and for her dedication to ensuring that equality principles and legislation are consistently upheld for the benefit of all Serbian citizens. At the end, let us continue supporting young people, their curiosity, critical thinking, and courage to lead. Let us keep this dialogue alive with openness, respect, and hope. And we know that when young people lead the conversation, the future becomes brighter for us all.
Thank you very much, Ms. Halacheva. And now we go again to Skopje to say good morning to Fatmir Sabriu, who is the State Secretary at the Ministry of Social Policy, Demography, and Youth of North Macedonia. Mr. Sabriu, the floor is yours.
Good morning to everyone. Estimated young people, representatives of youth organizations and the international sector, colleagues from the region, respected friends. It is my greatest honor and pleasure to address you today at this regional conference, which brings together all relevant stakeholders in society. This is not just an event. This is a space where the most influential voice of this day and age shall be heard, the voice of youth. On this day, young people from Macedonia, Serbia, Albania, Kosovo, and Bosnia and Herzegovina sit united not as representatives of different countries, but as partners who share the same hope, the same challenge, and the same vision. A vision for a European future that we are going to build together. Your role is crucial. The process of European integration is not a technical procedure, but a social transformation that must involve young people from the very beginning. That is why this conference is of exceptional importance. Today, you are given the chance to present your reality, your priorities, your concerns, but most importantly, your ideas and your solutions. Young people are no longer just the future. You are the present that is already moving our community Every initiative you launch, every organization you lead, every change you start is the foundation of a more robust and cohesive European society. As the Ministry of Social Policy, Demography and Youth, we strongly believe in integrated policies that create real development opportunities. We are working hard to build a system in which every young person can find proper support, from education and employment to participation in decision-making processes. What is essential is that no system can be successful and can succeed if young people are not part of its creation. Therefore, I'm here today to send you 3 significant messages. First, your voice has power. Do not underestimate your standpoint, your ideas, and your vision. The Europe we desire cannot be created without you. On the contrary, it will be the way you shape it. Second, regional cooperation is our greatest strength. The Western Balkans has untapped potential that can only be realized through cooperation. When the youth of the region are united, you can create a new energy that inspires, unites, and change for the better. Last but not least, be brave. Be brave to seek change, propose new policies, create innovations, challenge institutions, and be their partners in change. The European future is not something we should be waiting for. It is a process that each of you is building piece by piece. This conference is a reliable proof that the voice of young people is not only heard, it is positioned at the very center of current affairs. Let us continue to build bridges, strengthen democracies, and create policies that address the needs of young people. It is our duty to show that the Western Balkans are not on the margins, but an active and equal partner of Europe. Thank you for the positive vibe, your vision, and your dedication. Continue to be a driving force for positive change. And remember, the future doesn't necessarily come by itself. You are the ones who create. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sabriu, very much. And we will now see the video message from Ms. Brankica Janković, Serbia's Commissioner for the Protection of Equality. So I'm inviting my colleagues to play the video.
Good morning. It's a really great pleasure to greet you all, dear friends from the Foundation Center for Democracy, partners from European Union, distinguished experts, guests, and most importantly, young people from across our region who are at the heart of today's event. After having had the privilege of joining the opening of the Regional Politea School in September, I accepted the invitation to address you today with honor. I'm proud to be among you, young ones, who in these challenging times inspire us with your united and confident voices. I believe you play a crucial role in shaping the future of the Western Balkans because alongside your energy for change, you remind us of genuine values and the ideal of justice. For these ideals to become reality, it is essential that you develop both formal and informal knowledge and skills to actively participate in social processes. As I emphasized at the Politea School, education is fundamental. It should include not only learning the facts, but also engaging into critical thinking and questioning. Such education is needed for building a fairer, more empathetic, and responsible society. For over 10 years, I have had a youth advisory panel as a main ally and great inspiration in my work. Throughout our region, we share a proverb saying that the world rests on the youth. But what kind of world are we living, you young citizens? Research shows that it is not the one you hope to live in. You have dared to dream dreams bigger than those offered to you. You agree that education, housing, economic prosperity, following the law, and the elimination of corruption are key priorities. You value your heritage, your national and cultural identities, but at the same time, you make no compromises when it comes to respect for human rights and freedoms. You want your voices to be heard and reflected in policy making and implementation. You call for societies in which values such as equality, tolerance, and dignity are not only spoken of, but lived, and justice is applied consistently. Achieving this is a task for all of us, to live in a future that upholds these values. Also, central to European principles, we must cooperate. Enhanced regional cooperation in the Western Balkans will not only contribute to establishing stronger ties, promotion of tolerance and trust, but also strengthen regional stability and ensure enduring peace. Therefore, I call on you, young participants of today's conference, to speak up for what you believe is vital for shaping our future, so that together we can begin to secure it in the present. As the famous anthropologist Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." And it seems this group isn't that small after all. I wish you all a successful dialogue. Thank you.
That was Brankica Janković, Serbia's Commissioner for the Protection of Equality. And we now go back to Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have Mojca, Krisper, Figueroa, team leader for cooperation with the delegation of the European Union to Bosnia and Herzegovina. Mojca, I hope you can hear us.
Yes, can you hear me?
So we can hear and see you. So
Good morning.
the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning from Sarajevo. Dobro jutro. First of all, I want to say that a lot has been said, and I just want to come back to a few points. Thank you very much for this final conference, which brings in together young people, but also governments, educational institutions, and non-governmental organizations. It's a key. Policies that shape the lives of youth are numerous, and we will see that throughout the panels. Our youth are not just the leaders of tomorrow, they're the innovators and change makers of today. I want to just stress a few things. On e-integration process, of course, there are differences in countries' progresses in the Western Balkans, but youth need to be engaged from the beginning. Youth need to be empowered and included. We have heard they should be part of the open doors and open dialogue, sit at the same table. Here in Bosnia and Herzegovina, I'm particularly glad, and we see the support of Directorate for European Affairs, who has really started to engage the youth and put them as a priority target group. Also, at our delegation of the European Union, we have started to establish a youth soundboard in order to include youth in the processes. My colleague Liliana Pandic will join the panel too, which is very important. It's important on youth and employment. What we see in the region is that youth unemployment, inactivity, and out-migration, mainly to the EU countries, is not only a trend, but it's also something that is increasing, and we cannot afford to ignore this aspect. Hence, I just want to say a few words about the Youth Guarantee and its policies. The Youth Guarantee is a well-tested, inclusive and ambitious activation scheme, which started in the EU member states already in 2013 and has continued. Some 25 million youth have benefited from this. Young people receive a good quality offer of employment, continued education, apprenticeship, and a traineeship within 4 months. I mean, most of us can say that first job is the hardest to find, and youth can find themselves in a harsh condition. Hence, we believe that this scheme in the Western Balkans is of extreme importance. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, I want to stress that Youth Guarantee was committed, but still there is a number of tasks to be accomplished, such as the youth implementation plan for the Youth Guarantee, which should progress. Another thing that we should stress is that, as I mentioned earlier, that governments, educational institutions, including businesses and civil society, must work hand in hand in order for youth to have access to training and align with market demands. Real world experience for youth entrepreneurship, empowering our young people to create their own opportunities. Therefore, I would like to end with this. I know I put a bit of emphasis on employment, but I think this is extremely important as we ensure that our youngsters in Western Balkans, we don't face them with brain drain, but we try and keep them in the region and empower them in order to be part of the European integration process. Thank you very much.
Hvala Mojca, pozdravljamo vas. And we move back to Pristina. Ariana Chaka should be with us now. She's a program manager for civil society, media and youth at the European Union in Kosovo. Ariana, we can see you and we are eager to hear you.
Thank you very much. Good morning from rainy Pristina. Dear youth, organizers, partners, fellow EU colleagues. I'm super happy to be here at this event, which marks the end of the RYDE project, which focused on inclusion, empowerment, and participation of youth. All these are core values of every active and democratic society. I must say that we have so many ongoing projects that focus on these very issues, both bilaterally and regionally. And I'm happy to present the total number, the total amount of funding that the EU is currently providing regionally, and that is close to 20 million euro. We are supporting youth exchanges and mobility, quality education, training, workshops, and many other initiatives that support youth in our region to better advance their skill set. There are some flagship programs that my colleagues from the EU also mentioned. For instance, the Youth Guarantee, the Erasmus Plus program, and the Young Cell Scheme program. Many youngsters have benefited and are benefiting from these initiatives, and they are advancing their careers, their ideas in specific fields, and they are contributing to our society. In this regard, I must say that we as the EU office in Kosovo are happy to be supporting some of these initiatives, and we are committed to continue our support even in the future. I wish all of you successful and fruitful discussions over the next 2 days, discussions focused on EU path, employment, AI, well-being, green issues, and more. Because the European future starts with youth, with common goals to advancing our countries, and with collaborative work. Most importantly, I'm looking forward to reading the recommendations that will derive from this conference, and that is where we'll see the youth really contributing to policy work and policy development in our respective countries throughout the whole Western Balkans region. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you very much, Ariana. We move swiftly to Skopje. Irena Ivanova, task manager at the EU delegation in Skopje, is ready. Irena, the microphone is yours.
Thank you very much. Greetings from Skopje. Congratulations on the 3 years hard work. And to the first of all to the lead applicant center for lead organization Center for Democracy Foundation and the other civil society organizations involved in this. Indeed, one of the for me most important thing, it's what such projects are creating. This is a regional project and it's a regional voice. And in the same time, it's actually creating a domino networking among the young people in all of the countries in the enlargement region, where they can share not only their aspirations, their strength, optimism, but also their challenges, so they don't feel alone, and then they feel understanding each other, that they are going through the same, let's say, challenges, and that they would like to lead for the better tomorrow. It's difficult to highlight new things after all of the speakers, but let me try to highlight a few points that I think are also important. First of all, we are in an enlargement region where practically the progress in the enlargement countries, which somebody from the previous speakers highlight, we are not. I think my colleague Mojca, it is not equal, but that doesn't mean it could not be equalized by the force of the young people who are practically our future. And they are the most closest to reality. They are the power in the local community. And they are bold, have the courage to be innovative. And we who are in our, let's say, mature years, and we are in the position where we can contribute to their power to make the change, should be really listening to them. In the spirit of the European Union Youth Strategy and the 11 goals, I think our principles also in the enlargement countries should be engage, connect, and empower. And young people, as we mentioned, are also carrier of the values and also of the European values, and that they can turn them into the reality. What is important here in this project and many others, it's also the importance of youth speaking through organized civic activism and civil society like yourself. And we heard some of the content that you have implemented, and I really do hope sincerely and that youth have being now empowered with skills they to have also being active civil activists and organize their voice. I hope in the future also we will have more regional projects led by civil society, which are led by young people that are successful in articulating the voice of the citizens and making the local governments hearing their voice, but also the central institutions. Not to forget the business community. We mentioned now also my colleague Mojca mentioned about the employment issues that many of the young people are dealing with and facing after the optimism and knowledge they have from the high institution education when they finish, and then when they're facing the reality, quite number of the young people in the enlargement countries deciding to flee outside in the European Union countries or other countries. So we have really, unfortunately, remarkable number of brain, not only youth drain, but also brain drain. And this is why this support and this voice of civil society due together working is very much important to make the change here in our countries and to extend the hand and in their networking, but also in strong cooperation with the institutions and the business community. The presence of our institution here are also proof of the commitment. I would like to greet also Mr. Sabriu, who is always on all of the youth events and especially the European Union projects and quite devoted expression of the public administration. So to wrap up, I think civil society, there was one sentence that Biljana Bejkova have mentioned, that the enlargement and the EU integration process will be not decided in Brussels, but in the countries where youth are. I would extend this, not only that, but civil society and youth also organized through civil society will decide how to progress on democracy in our countries, on rule of law, on good governance, on anti-corruption, on gender-based fight against gender-based violence. We are now entering in 16 days of orange days for gender-based violence, on gender equality, and in general on Europeization and emancipation of our society, to be bold in the changes that European integration reforms are needed, and to become member of the EU family. Thank you.
Thank you, Irena, very much. And to wrap up this session, I give the floor to Đorđe Cvijović of the Regional Youth Cooperation Office here in Serbia.
Thank you very much. I hope you don't mind if I take the mic, because it's really hard for me always at these podiums to talk at the microphone. Dear friends, dear colleagues, firstly, I want to really thank the Foundation Center for Democracy for the invitation to this conference, and to give some opening remarks on behalf of the Regional Youth Cooperation Office. But I must say, not just on behalf of RYDE, but also as part of the family, alumni family of Foundation Center for Democracy, because this organization was one of the first organizations who provided the opportunity for me to regionally connect with my peers from the Western Balkans and to engage more in regional cooperation. And from its establishment in 2016, I would say that RYDE only continued this work that civil society from across the region already did before 2016 in terms of connecting young people, working on reconciliation, enhancing regional cooperation, but also giving space to young people in decision making. Since I know that we are really limited on time, and since a lot of previous speakers mentioned this involvement in decision making, I think that my role is best fulfilled if I pass the message from young people who were involved with RYDE. Each year, in the framework of the Berlin process, we are organizing Youth Forum of Berlin process, where we gather young people from the region in order to come up with recommendations for decision makers, which are then presented to decision makers, not just on the regional level, but also on the local and European level. This year in Pristina, we gathered more than 90 young people from the region who came up with recommendations that I think can be linked also to the discussions of today's conference. So I will just read a couple of them, and I think that they will serve maybe as a good starting point also for your discussions during these panels. On the topic of migration, young people need the governments of the Western Balkans 6 to digitalize the diploma nostrification process obtained abroad. Also, they should make the process bureaucratically simpler, faster and cheaper, with the goal of turning brain drain into brain gain. Governments of the Western Balkans should establish an independent commission body that manages public open calls for job vacancies, so that citizens can report corruption or lack of transparency in employment processes online. Ministries of youth of the Western Balkans should establish mechanisms of support for young mothers to have their rights protected in the labor market. On the topic of economy and economic growth, young people recommended to the governments and all other actors that they should develop government EU or government and private sector partnerships that provide young people with agricultural opportunities, state land, training, and co-funded vocational programs, guaranteeing sustainable jobs and reducing migration, particularly by addressing internal rural to urban migration. Also on the topic of economy, young people want the decision makers to integrate practical literacy skills, financial literacy, media literacy, entrepreneurship into all secondary schools to equip students with the critical life skills needed for employability, resilience, and informed decision-making in the labor market. Last but not the least, in the topic of security, which I think is really important topic for young people in the region now. Young people want parliamentary committees and relevant ministries to systematically include national youth councils and youth CSOs in policy-making processes, particularly on issues related to human security, digital governance, and inclusion. Media regulatory bodies should adopt and consistently enforce guidelines in line with EU's Digital Service Act, operating transparently and free from political influence to safeguard freedom of speech and restore trust in the media. So I would just underline, as it was mentioned by the previous speakers, that young people are not indifferent. I think that they recognize the problems of the societies quite well. They recognize issues with corruption, issues with the educational system, issues with misinformation. So I think that this conference, but also our joint work, should lead the way into enabling young people to have their voices heard more than right now. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to listening to all your discussions at the conference.
Thank you very much, Giorgio. Natasha.
One sentence that I missed to say. Some may ask, why don't we have a studio in Montenegro? We would have liked it very much, but we don't have an official partner from Montenegro, which was not our wish. But we have a representative of the youth office from Podgorica, from the city of Podgorica.
We have Montenegro in Belgrade.
We have Montenegro in Belgrade. So I wish you a warm welcome, and that is just, but we have a lot of participants in many activities, and we'll have them today as well.
Thank you. Many thanks to all keynote speakers. And without further ado, we move to our next the task here. We move to the very first panel discussion.